with Annabelle Hudson.
Hello and welcome. Australia Day celebrations were slightly altered this year in line with government restrictions. However, it didn't stop 32 people from receiving their Australian citizenship at a ceremony in Dubbo and another one in Wellington. It was also a time to acknowledge the significant contribution of community members who make the Dubbo region a great place to live and work.
A new line for the national anthem. And a whole new lineup of Australian citizens pledging to uphold the values of being an Aussie.
Everybody, we have a new Australian.
Australia Day 2021 took on an altered format, but these new citizens couldn't wipe the smiles off their faces. Citizenship ceremonies are held throughout the year, but the Australia Day one is probably one of the Mayor's favourites.
Conferring new Australian citizens is my absolute most favourite thing I get to do as Mayor. Absolutely love it.
9 residents from Dubbo and Wellington were recognised for their significant contribution to the community. Terry Clark received the Dubbo Citizen of the Year, raising more than $300,000 for the Royal Flying Doctor Service during the Outback Trek.
I'd like to thank many people because from what we achieved at the RFDS through the Dubbo Support Group is not just one person, it's a whole team of people. It's people that donate, it's people that support us with their volunteer hours. I'm just proud that I was able to lead such an amazing team of people and achieve what we achieved.
And in Wellington, Gay Bennison received Citizen of the Year for her role in the Burrendong Botanic Garden and Arboretum. With fewer people allowed to attend, the community remained connected. There was also support for local businesses that were open and for the aquatic leisure centres, which now have free entry on Australia Day.
So those pools are now open, free for the public on Australia Days forevermore. That's now a resolution of Dubbo Regional Council.
Emily Wheeler, DRC News.
It has been 12 months since a series of dust storms lashed the region, and Dubbo Regional Council finally had a chance to clean some of the dust at one of its iconic sporting attractions. More than 2 tonnes of dust was removed from the running track at Dubbo Park, Council's athletic centre of excellence. The track was washed by sporting surface maintenance and repair specialists Sports Clean and required a special machine to complete the wash. The company's founder said it is the most dust he has ever seen removed from a track. Expressions of interest for one of the country's largest art competitions are closing in just 2 days. The Kinetic Art Competition aims to find an Indigenous artist from anywhere in Australia to come up with a concept for a kinetic artwork, which will be placed on the side of the old Telstra Exchange building outside the old Dubbo Jail. Shortlisted candidates will be able to workshop their designs with the contractor engaged to complete the work.
The Kinetic Art project has been open since early December last year, and the expression of interest period has seen some great applications coming in. We're getting close to the end of that application period, but artists still have time to jump onto the Dubbo Regional Council website, have a look at the expression of interest form, download it and have a think about their submission.
The artwork will be part of a multi-million-dollar development of the old Dubbo Jail Heritage Plaza. Shortlisted candidates will be notified by the end of February. Council has partnered with a number of community groups to deliver a much-needed service for the residents in the Dubbo region. However, the service now needs support from the community to ensure it continues operating.
Delivered by Live Better Transport Services, Lift was born from a critical need for a dedicated service that gives people living with a brain or spinal injury better access to transport. Right now, the service is urgently seeking volunteer transport drivers.
We're finding it very difficult to get people to volunteer for us, but we'd like people to know that it's an important community service. We assist a lot of people daily, and we would love nothing more than have people come talk to us, find out what volunteering is about, and ask us the questions, and we'll be more than happy to answer them, and we certainly would be happy to take them on board as a volunteer driver.
LIFT, which stands for Live Better, I Can, Swift Fair Transport, is a pilot program.
We have been involved right from the very beginning, from that first phone call from the iCare Foundation when they wanted to come out to our region and discuss the transport gaps that were existing.
Initially launched in 2020, the service had to temporarily suspend services due to COVID-19. However, the service is back in action again and operators are calling for more volunteers. The lifeblood needed to keep the lift program going are its volunteer drivers like Pam.
I just love talking to the people. And sometimes it's the volunteers are the only people they see, or our drivers. You know, they might go for weeks without going out and then they go to town and they talk all the way to the shops.
We really need people who are happy to work maybe one day a week for a couple of hours, or if you've got time to give up just to help us, you know, whenever you think you can help us.
If you have some time to volunteer as a driver, you'll not only be helping this vital community group, but also giving those with a brain or spinal injury a much needed helping hand. Kelsey Galea, DRC News.
If your community organisation partners with council or operates from a council facility and you'd like to profile your group or attract new members and volunteers, drop us a line. Community groups and volunteers play an incredibly important role, and DRC News would be happy to share your stories. Well, what's 19 kilometres long, lilac in colour, and can be found underground beneath the city? No, it's not a new species of animal. Rather, it's the Cross-City Water Pipeline, a major infrastructure project designed to improve water security for the future and ease the pressure of water availability to the city's inhabitants ahead of the next drought.
While most of us are asleep of an evening, not so the construction team behind the Cross-City Water Pipeline that's rapidly snaking its way from one side of the city to the other. From sundown to sunup, crews are digging deep to deliver yet another significant infrastructure project for the region. Funded by the New South Wales Government's $30 million emergency drought relief grant as part of the Council's Water for the Future strategy, the project involves a network of dual pipes with specific dual purposes. One will provide drinking water or potable water, and the other will provide non-drinking water or non-potable water to the city. This will be critical in times of drought.
The non-potable pipeline's intention is to also irrigate certain council facilities in the future, compared to the bore water main, which just runs right back to the John Gilbert Water Treatment Plant and doesn't really require any connections along the way other than 2 bores.
All the work being done now is paving the way for future projects that will better strengthen the city's water security. Work has been underway on the outskirts of the city since late 2020, with large sections of the pipe already laid. Daytime work has now given way to critical night works along Bligh Street, which for several more weeks will continue overnight during the week and on weekends. Andrew Parsons, DRC News.
The Dubbo Regional Cycling Facility is almost a year old. It was a turbulent first 12 months with COVID wreaking havoc on the sporting calendar. But the club is now looking to new goals for 2021, including boosting membership and training for the Track Cycling Nationals in March.
By now, Daniel Barber was meant to have competed on the world stage.
Junior Worlds was going to happen, but then that was just after the COVID hit. Throughout the year, the competition dates kept changing, which kind of messed us about a bit, so we couldn't peak at the right times. We had to reset our training and all of that.
He cleaned up at the Junior Nationals in December, winning 3 golds and a silver. But there's a short turnaround this year. There's usually 12 months between Nationals, but he competes again in March.
It does make things a bit difficult, but you've just got to put up with it and just trust your coaches, trust the people you've got around you to help you out and make sure you get where you need to be.
And he has plenty of support from the club that fostered his talent from a young age. A team of coaches and mentors at his side and a world-class facility to train on.
This is one of the few tracks rated in Australia to international standards. So certainly we can, in a way there's not a limit on what events we could host here.
The club was based here at No. 1 Oval, and the facility holds plenty of memories for the cyclists. To retain a piece of that heritage, some of the turf here was dug up and planted at the new track. The agenda now for the next 12 months is to get more people riding, and the message from the club president:
there are elite riders, but you don't have to be an elite rider to come down and join the club.
Emily Wheeler, DRC News.
At 8 a.m. every Saturday, about 3 million people across the globe start their weekend with a 5-kilometre run, jog or walk around their local park. The concept is called Park Run, with Australia hosting more than 400 events each weekend. One of these is a group right here in Dubbo, who are celebrating more than 5 years of pounding the pavement.
Sprinting towards a finish line 5.5 years in the making.
Definitely burns the legs.
These runners foregoing a Saturday sleep-in, rather choosing to moat around the Macquarie River or propel themselves at a more measured pace.
Hard on the lungs, but yeah, like with the vibe of everybody running around with you, you sort of just forget about that and yeah, you keep pushing on.
It's all part of Park Run, 5Ks every Saturday at 8 a.m.
I've probably done about 219. I've volunteered 32 times.
Hundreds of diehards garbed in green lining up on the 23rd of January to celebrate the 250th Dubbo Park Run.
Oh, it's pretty amazing, 5 years. It's gone quick but slow at the same time.
With COVID-19 restrictions parking Park Run for 9 months last year, the event restarted in December, with COVID-safe check-in and guidelines in place to keep all participants and volunteers safe.
We had our volunteer rosters full, so it really shows that people not only missed the actual event itself in terms of participating, but they also missed volunteering and feeling part of the community.
And what are the goals of these passionate park runners?
5Ks in around 19 minutes.
I just don't want to miss a park run.
Cheers to another 250, hopefully, yeah.
Sinead Fogarty, DRC News.
Dubbo Regional Council's Chief Executive Officer Michael McMahon has announced he plans to retire in April this year. Mr McMahon has worked in local government for 40 years and has rounded out his career in Dubbo. Starting at DRC in 2018 as the interim CEO following the amalgamation, Mr McMahon has guided the council through some of its most tumultuous times, including the drought and COVID-19. An acting CEO will be appointed from the 1st of April until the local government elections in September. That is DRC News for this fortnight. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget you can stay up to date with other council stories and information via our Facebook page and our website. If your organisation is working with council to improve the lifestyle and services available to the community and are interested in being featured on DRC News, get in touch by sending us an email. Thanks for joining us.